Empathic building reports shows lots of data from utilization and from environmental data. Here I'll take desk data. I can choose, for example, last week. I'll take desk data, and I'll take, for example, we have occupancy sensors. I'll take the occupancy sensors here. We don't have very many reservation sensors, and I'll create a report for last week. Here in the report, we can see the utilization curve for the week. We can also check it per day. I'll go back to the week. We can see that the number of desk sensors, we can see the occupancy, and we can see here, for example, the most popular desks and the least popular desks. We can also then scroll down and we can see the peak occupancy for the time period, which was the 21st of November at 1 p.m. of 45%. And we can click here to see the curve and to navigate these things further. We can also click on the digital twin and we can zoom in to see the heat map data. We select or deselect different data here. We can take a clean desk policy of 0, or we can take 120 minutes. We can include Monday to Friday, or we can just include some days of the week. We can choose 8 to 5 p.m., for example, 8 to 17. And we can also edit the number of desks that are included. One thing we can do here actually is we can click or unclick. We can search for desks to include or uninclude, for example. Or we can group by zone. And then another thing we can do is we can actually select desks by clicking on the digital twin, by actually deselecting some desks. And here you'll see these flexi desks are being removed. And then I save changes and I apply the data again. We can also do the same for reservation and for rooms which have as well reservation and occupancy sensors. We'll take the report. Again, it's for last week. Just taking a moment. And here we see, for example, in the sensor data, we see similar data. We see the heat map, we see the most popular, we see the curve, we see the peaks. Here for reservation, then we see the same thing from reservation data. This is sensor data, and the same for reservation data. And then also we can compare that data to see, okay, of the reservations that were made, 78.9% were used, 21% were not used, and then actually 20% of the time for 26 hours, reservations were made when nobody, the room was used without a reservation. So it wasn't used, but people were detected in there with the sensor, which is just kind of using meeting rooms as ad hoc spaces. We then can go out and we can go to the environmental report. And we can see, for example, temperature and CO2, and we can start to study kind of key metrics at the moment. These will be added, new features will be added all the time, but we can see the average, the highest, and the lowest temperatures in different spaces. I'm going to take last week so the data is better. So here we have, for example, in temperature, we have the average of 23, the highest of 23.6, and the lowest of 22.5. And this really helps us kind of see, okay, where are it's organized based on the highest, and where are the highest, where are the lowest spaces occurring. Okay, that's 17.8%. That sounds a bit low. Let's check where that is. And the same with CO2, where we can use last week's data and we can study, okay, what are the highest, what are the lowest, what are the outliers, are there any problems occurring? New features will come from environment very soon, but this is an overview of the data at the moment.